Welcome to the 100th episode of Community Association Call Chat. It's actually the last Mondays that we will be broadcasting an episode for the year of 2022. So today we have a very special guest. And Steve, can you tell us who it is?
Thank you, David. 100 episodes, man. 100. I didn't think that we'd be on it this long. Of course, nobody thought that COVID was going to be around this long either. So it's been working out, man. We have had a lot of fun. And I got to tell you, you know what? We are really, really blessed today for our 100th episode. Honored we are to have such a guest. So today we have the president of FirstService Residential, Mr. Michael Mendillo. Michael, thank you for coming on the show with us. Thank you for speaking with our fans and our viewers. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael.
Well, first of all, thank you. You guys have had such a journey, these 100 episodes that you have put out. And by the way, I am a fan and have seen many, many of them. So you guys have done a terrific job in this industry on really bringing a wide range of different type of guests and different type of lenses through all the different professionals that you've pulled in. So thank
you very
you
much
for having me part of this. Michael Mendillo, president of FirstService Residential, have been one of the first and I'll say beginning trailblazers in a partnership at FirstService Residential. Just celebrated my 25th partnership anniversary with FirstService, April 1st of 2022. So that was a big milestone and I'm very proud of that. But I've been in the industry for 32 years and have only done this in my career. Came right out of college and got involved in real estate, kind of stumbled down the avenue of the community association management industry and really never let go of the handlebars from there and took it to the level of where we're at now. So this has been my only job in this industry. And it's been an amazing, amazing journey through these 32 years.
So you're proof that you can make a living in property management.
Well, the answer is absolutely. You've got probably about a couple of million people that can back that as well who are in this industry. But yes, it is a career that I would say is probably one of the top sleeper career that are not as known as it should be in the real estate field, even in the curriculums of academics through colleges, but still a great, great field to be in and a huge opportunity for many, many people.
I agree. Definitely a sleeper industry. Not many people pay attention to it. But now, how did you get started? You said 35 years ago, right out of college. Was it an ad? Was it a friend of? How did you all start it?
So it was 32. Don't add 3 more onto me, please. I really thought my career and dream was going to be to develop and build real estate. It was much the sexier side of real estate, if you will. Yeah. But I literally stumbled on people that were in the management business and kind of fit in what I was doing in the investor real estate sales. And it just kind of pulled me in like a vacuum. My former partner, David Epstein, he and I met and connected with another partner, and we ended up kind of forming this partnership and really looking at the real estate management business area and a field that was untapped. And it's still, there's 43,000 management companies across the country that do community association management. And there's only 2 national ones at this present time. But you're going back 32 years ago, there was no one that was national. It was very much local, very much mom and pop-ish, if you will. So, the opportunity there was a little bit visionary. Could we take this that was fragmented and maybe validate opportunities and see if we can really build this and have more of a bandwidth to take on more opportunities in the management and not just stay local. So it had some attraction to it, and we ran into some challenges along the way, of course, like any business is starting.
For sure.
I'm sure that you've seen quite a bit along the way and worked at a couple different levels and a couple different scales of business. So could you tell us a little bit about that, about the challenges of going from something that maybe like a middle-sized management company or regional type management company to something that operates coast to coast, something that operates on a national scale?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was our industry, and I would say more from the client perspective, the professionals in the field, as well as vendors that we would work with, is, back in the early parts of this was that if you weren't local, if you weren't around the corner from the property and your office wasn't a 10-minute drive, people couldn't understand how you can manage a business. So I would say the biggest challenge was changing the culture of the lenses of the boards to see that there is a way of really expanding and branding across the board. And if you look in our day-to-day world, right, we don't ask where Pepsi is being created, right? It's because culturally we've accepted that there is a location that's doing it, and the brand is strong enough that we know what it's going to be produced. The biggest hurdle is creating a brand that they feel the consistency is not different, and it's consistent no matter where you are or how and who it's being managed with. So that's been the biggest challenge. And as you know, in our industry, especially on the property management side, we're not building anything. It's not like we're building a widget here. So really it is about the leadership, the people, the protocols, the process, the SOPs that come in, the value that you bring in. Can that be very consistent property after property? No matter what vertical you're managing, high rise, lifestyle, you're still driving that across the board. That's been without a doubt and continues to be somewhat of a challenge as well.
Over the past 10 years, technology has been rapidly increasing. Over the past 3 years, it's been really fast. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Technology will always continue to play a very important part, I think, in all management companies. If you're a boutique management company or a mid-size or a large or a national one, technology will continue to play a huge part. So understanding what is the best platforms out there, or if you do have the capital that you can create your firm that really is custom to what are the needs from the client's perspective, streamlining the process of your teams, not just your property managers, but you also have a financial team, you have maybe a corporate team, you have HR teams. So really combining all of those needs to really streamline the proper service that can differentiate you to the client is always going to be the task. And I see that changing anywhere from every 18 to 30 months, because you have to be relevant on what's occurring in the need of the client, the residents, the board members, and then from the lenses of the management side, the one providing the service, what do you need technology-wise to bring that together? And that platform has to be across your organization. You can't have different types of technologies blending in there either.
It's very interesting. The industry itself, it spans some people just getting into the industry, coming out of college like yourself, all the way up to people that have a lot of experience. So there's a couple of generations involved here. I mean, and technology has a tendency to sometimes in some of the older generations, and whereas the younger generations embrace it. How are you bridging that gap? How are you creating some sort of collaboration between the generations? Do you have any advice for our viewers on that?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things that I've always tried to stay grounded, and look, there's a human factor here, right? We're all mortal,
Sure.
We're all human. So there's never going to be a perfect way. We're never going to have leaders that are great in every areas. But one of the key things I've always felt is that collaboration of generations is always the more prudent approach in developing your business. And the collaboration of it is, if you think about, you've got the baby boomers, you've got Gen X, you got millennials, and then you got Gen Zs. And without a doubt, each generation brings something to the table. If each generation stays genuinely curious, and that is the hardest part. I kind of say it's like a family if you have siblings, right? Where do you sit within the siblings of it? I have two older brothers. I'm the youngest of three boys. Has that had an influence in my career and me as a personality? Of course it does, because of where I'm born in the pecking order. But at the end of the day, the more that you could be open to it and realize that the younger brother might be always the youngest brother, but doesn't mean that he can't bring something to the table. Business is the same way. I'm super embraced by the Gen Z generation and think that this generation will definitely bring the most value when it comes to creativeness to the table. But they're challenged with a generation that has labeled them in some cases maybe doesn't want to work hard. And I don't buy it. I really don't. I think they're just smarter in a sense that, they're going to look at opportunities and not just dig their heels into one opportunity. They're going to look across the board. And if you take the boomers who were brought up on, you get a job, you have a career, you stick with it, times change. Now more like 26 to 32 changes in someone's career. And I say to myself, get over it. If the person can bring value, how do you bring those generations and all the ones in between, the millennials, the Gen X's? But I think the key formula here is leaders must embrace. They must embrace and make people feel part of the team, not drive what a person's age is. And by the way, the Gen Zs also should be respecting the baby boomers or the Gen X's who have gone through decades of experience.
Yeah.
So the collaboration is important because each one brings something to the table. It's not about pushing a generation out or not allowing one in. It's about what can we do together and bring all those expertise. It comes in different shapes and sizes. Doesn't necessarily mean it's about technology. It's different thinking. It's fresh thinking. Learns of experience, being down the road many, many times where you can help avoid a landmine for a younger leader by that baby boomer who's been around the block and experienced the power of relationships and generations of it.
Yeah, there's more than one way to avoid that landmine, but landmine is there. You just got to make sure that you don't step on it. And that's where the experience come in and can really help. Thank you, everybody. This will conclude the part 1 of our Community Association Call Chat with Michael Mendillo. And we'll see you on Wednesday for the second part.